I have been on the fence with this whole thing since, and you see, this was core to part 3, right?
Yeah, jokes, yeah.
Yeah, with jokes. I was giving you, satire. There is satire an effective form of criticism. It's the same argument. Especially since these representations she's showing. And actually, maybe some of this needs to go into a bloopers reel. But these representations she's showing, they are a form of satire because they're making the commentary, the commentary on the actions via the people who are using it. Again, it's not a very good commentary, perhaps, but it's an attempt.
Yeah, it's just very poor.
Yeah.
It's very, very poor. I mean, sometimes I always think it would be better to say, like, it's poor as a commentary.
Okay, I get you.
In other words, it's not a poor commentary, but it's poor as a commentary.
Oh man, even I screw up with language there. All right.
Yeah, it might be nice to add, because I mean, I think that's a better way to phrase it. I really do. I mean, it's not a commentary. I mean, you know what I mean? Like at some level, it's not. I mean, you can take it as a commentary. You can very much take it as a commentary. This is kind of where I think it gets interesting, when you can try to get underneath all this stuff, and you can take it as a commentary. And if you take it as a commentary, it's poor.
Though, remember, we all watched Jim Sterling playing Tome Enough You Like, right?
Yeah.
And the whole gate is a ability to have game managers through a bug being patched out and Nintendo making a stupid comment. And about not trying to make commentary. And I think Jim Sterling was right when he said, listen, anytime you make something, then you're making a commentary, whether you want to or not. So we have to actually say, okay, from this perspective, representations are by definition commentary, because you're injecting your own viewpoint and your own social judgments and values into the representation, in which whether you mean to or not. You know, if I was, for example, if I was incredibly racist against black people, and I say, okay, no, I'm not going to put any race into my game. I'm not going to have the screaming white guy dissing black people. I'm just going to have a couple of black characters in my game. The fact that I'm making it as a racist, as whether I intend to be making racist commentary or not, I would just relegate these black characters to positions, to roles that reflect them negatively, because I'm reflecting my view of them, which I see as normal. So I would be making a commentary in that matter, or an unintentional commentary.
Yeah, I mean, you could take it as a commentary. I mean, for example, but just look at the movie Terminator. So the Terminator comes in from the future, and he starts shooting at people looking for Sarah Connor. All right, well, okay. You could read a lot of stuff into the Terminator. But, for example, I mean, you could read it as a commentary on racial equality. You could. I mean, it would tell you absolutely nothing. I mean, maybe it would say, like, racial equality doesn't exist or something. I don't know. Maybe you could even get that out of it, sure. But, I mean, you could read it as a commentary of a lot of stuff. You could read it as a commentary on violence against women. You could read it as a commentary on religion. So, I believe all that. I believe all that's true. You can. But where I don't know. Like where are we left at that point? Yeah, it's a crappy commentary if you take it as one.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember once I wrote that essay in philosophy of art, and I said, when you leave the interpretation of a work completely open, it stops meaning anything at all, and it actually becomes like a beggar. It actually it starts having to beg other people for its meaning. Like, it has to walk around with its cup out and saying, "What do I mean? What do I mean?" Right? And then you don't get anything back from it other than just a reflection of yourself. I don't know. I kind of feel like I've stepped back from that a little bit. I mean, I get this whole death of the author thing, but I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, you can read Terminator in that way, but there are more interesting, how about let's put it like that at the very least, interesting ways to read Terminator that actually have something to do with what's being said.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking the Terminator as a commentary on, I don't know, meatpacking plants or something, right? I mean, who knows? Which I think you could do, right?
You could do that, right? I mean, it just would be crappy, totally crappy. It would be a terrible commentary on it. I mean, you could get a lot more out of it as a commentary on violence or a commentary on religion. Yeah. I mean, but that's why I don't think there's anything wrong with her taking it as a commentary, like GTA taking, like, for example, taking that scene in GTA as a commentary. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's nothing incorrect about that, but, okay.
Just as to remind us all, we are all off topic because the question was not commentary, it was critique.
Well,
But they're similar. They're similar, they're not identical.
But I mean, I could just say the same word for critique.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I was hesitant to bring it up, but.
I mean, why not? Why don't you change it to critique? Same thing applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. For some reason, I don't think those people in Watch Dogs were making any kind of critique at all. They just happened to throw that crap in because they wanted some big old dollars. And as a critique, it sucks.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting norms you can, like, maybe their viewpoint, the things you can squeeze out of there. I mean, there's like a worldview inside the world of Watch Dogs, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff you could pull out. Because Watch Dogs, as a world, sees the world in terms of power and violence and domination.
Right. You could actually come up with a really interesting interpretation too. I think. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. This coming from. Have either of you actually played Watch Dogs?
No.
And, yeah, I want to, but I don't have PS4. Or PS3 anymore. Thank you, bastard.
So, I guess that discussion was somewhat.
Well, it's fun.
I mean, I totally get it. I get both sides of it. I totally do. I feel that the force of that discussion more when it comes to TV than I do with video games, and even more so when the TV is couched as educational, or serious, taken something to be taken seriously. And I think some gamers actually do feel that way, and if they do feel that way, sorry, sorry about that. A lot of what you take seriously is, sorry.
I mean, kind of in a weird way. I mean, what if you took Sailor Moon as a critique of crime fighting techniques? You know what I mean? Like, in other words, we should all get our sticks and transform every time, and that's like the commentary. I mean, Sailor Moon has nothing to tell you about how to bust crime. I mean, you could read it as one, like, but I mean, it would be much more interesting to read it as something like you got to like release the full potential of yourself and things like this, and
maturity,
and just, I guess.
Friendship and maturity, I guess, would be big themes in Sailor Moon.
But again, I mean, it wouldn't be wrong to deliver it as that, like, wow, look at the Sailor Moon universe. The cops are totally ignorant and can't do anything, apparently.
We are fighting monsters. They're trained to fight monsters.
Yeah.
They should be. Yeah, okay, that's because that's the symbolism there. The monsters are your criminals that are too powerful, too skilled for the cops to deal with. And they keep popping up more and more and more, and they propagate each other. That's a commentary, yo.
That is a possible commentary on Sailor Moon. I admit,
Yeah.
it is possible.
I mean, it's kind of, I guess, if you take into like our previous video. I mean, we got into more of this, I think, in that just the one in the video. I mean, the people, what do they talked about this on Crack too, where you just kind of the things that are thrown off on the side. Those are the ones that seep in. You know what I mean? Like without you thinking about it. Like like you mentioned, John McClane, right? Oh, of course, John McClane gets his wife back. The stuff that's thrown off on the side, those are the stuff that might seep in. I mean, I don't know. Like if you play Grand Theft Auto, I don't know. I'm not so worried about a lot of people taking it as meaning take an AK-47 and mow down every guy out there you don't like. But it maybe on a different level, maybe somebody might take it as like, oh yeah, I should just like knock those guys out. I should punch them, and use any means necessary to stop them. It might be taken at that level, maybe by someone, or like it might be like you should be a macho man, right? Don't be such a girly man. Settle your fights yourself. Somebody might take it at that level too. So I think it's more reasonably it might actually happen that way.
Yeah. Though I think like you said, things that are thrown by the wayside, the more subtle things, these are the ones that have the most potential to be damaging, which is one of the things Anita's doing wrong here. Yeah, I mean, she was on a good course with damsels in distress, because that is something we just take for granted. Oh, weak woman needs saving. Then, what? That's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Whereas nobody looks at, naked guy raping woman on hill, meat gun down. Yeah, that's the way things are. Nobody thinks that.